Hi everybody, good morning. This is Jamie Dragosta, and I just wanted to send out the daily momentum video. You know, science, when I was growing up, I always heard something that was kind of interesting, and that is that we only use a small percentage of our brain. It was originally Albert Einstein who came up with that concept or that idea. And we know that there have been a lot of different studies out there, and you know, UCLA did some great studies on how much of the brain that we actually use, and it was about 10%. Now, when you hook your brain up to an EEG, we can see that the brain is moving quite a bit. There's a tremendous amount of activity, and you know, that idea of only using 10% is not that the whole brain isn't functioning or isn't working, well, because we can see it working with the EEG. But what they're referencing is the human potential or the capability. And a lot of people, quite frankly, just go through life, you know, never actually realizing their potential. They kind of satisfied in what they're doing, or quite frankly, they just don't know. And I love this quote by Oscar Wilde. He said, "People live lives in quiet desperation, only to end their lives in bitter resentment and anger, thinking of what might have been if only they had had the breaks and the chances others seem to have." So I understand what he's saying, and I understand that a lot of scientific studies only show that humans are only reaching, you know, a very small portion of their potential, and down to about 2%. And I can see that. When I was a young man, I lived in France, and they have a disorder where some people die over there, and they basically call it brain dead, because people, it's kind of like atrophying a muscle. If you don't use the brain, and it is a muscle, it is an organ, you know, if you don't feed it like a fire, it eventually goes out. And a lot of people go through life really never tapping into their potential. And so one of the things that I want to do in this daily momentum is to let you know that, you know, there are ways that you can radically change your life, and how you do this is through understanding how the brain works, how your body works, how your spirit works, and the combination of mind, body, and spirit. And it's really not necessarily spiritual practices, but it's more physics, and we're going to talk a lot about that. And what I want you to know is that, you know, when we start to understand the mind and our thinking, the key comes into play of our vision. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about vision. And it has a lot to do with our mindset. But the reality is if you don't create a vision and really focus on that, then, you know, you kind of drift. And it's like, it's almost like you have to work out that muscle, not only to grow it, but to sustain it. And if you really want to tap into the law of attraction, you have to focus on the vision. So part of that vision is asking the question, and you have to be very sincere about this, is what is it that you want from life? Is it a better body? Do you want to lose weight? Is it your health? Is it relationships? Is it more money? Is it a spiritual quest? What is it? And the thing about that is if you really want that, you have to make that a priority. You have to make that vision something that is of extreme importance to you, because that is the key. And so we're going to continue to talk about that. So you know, what I want you to do as far as action steps is to focus on that vision. Make sure that you're writing in your journal. Make sure that you're creating the vision each and every day. And I'm going to continue to give insights and tips on how I do it, and how you can adopt some of those practices. So all right, everybody, appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.